attention this afternoon. An 8-year-old boy who went to school blackfaced, as you see there, to give a speech on Martin Luther King Jr. The Colorado second grader dressed up as the civil rights leader, complete with black paint on his face as part of a class history project. But the costume didn't go over well. His painted face offended some students and a teacher, and he was sent home after refusing to wash it off.
They thought it was inappropriate and it would be disrespectful to black people. But I say that it's not. I like black people. I don't want to be mean to them. It's just a costume. I don't want to insult anybody.
The school district spokesperson would not comment on the face paint in terms of race relations, only saying that it violates the school's dress code. But his parents and some other adults are outraged, saying this was not an act of racism. The boy was just trying to get into character. What is your take on this? Was it wrong for the boy to wear black face paint for that school project? Do you feel it was racially insensitive?
And we are excited to be joined today by Dee Snider, lead singer of Twisted Sister. Thanks for being here. This second grader, second grade, is this malicious or is it perhaps ignorant on his parents' part?
So you turn to me because I used to wear a full face of makeup. Okay, I got it. I could hear the kid talking a little bit. He seems to be sincere, but I don't have a racist bone in my body, but I wouldn't put blackface on because it's just not acceptable, and his parents should know that. And a black person putting white face on, that's not acceptable either. So his parents should know better, and if the kid doesn't, it's up to the parents to do the right thing.
So maybe this opened up an important dialogue then in the community and at that school.
Well, I mean, how many other schools do you think are dealing with this? Kids coming to school with blackface on. And it was a terrible costume. That's another thing.
I mean,
it didn't even look good. That Charlie Chaplin mustache he's got going on there. I thought he was a whole other character.
Well, you know, we certainly know blackface invokes so much pain on African Americans and us in the African American community. But you got to give the kid credit. Dr. Martin Luther King, civil rights activist, leader. He was trying to do the speech. I get that. But he's second grade. I mean, I'm wondering if we're being overly sensitive as adults by saying, was this kid really stepping over the line here?
Well, there's another thing. Was it the kid's idea to do it, or did the parents come up with the idea to do it? He wrote a report on Martin Luther King. I wrote a report on Martin Luther King. I didn't do it in blackface. Again, he's in second grade. I know we live in an overly PC society, but I just think the parents should just have said, okay, we understand what you want to do, son, but I think maybe there's a better way to do this.
I wonder if that was his idea. It just seems like something more the parent.
It seems a little adulty. Second grader putting on blackface.
Right. Yeah.
Doesn't seem like, aha!
Well, if nothing else, it's certainly opening the dialogue and maybe getting some folks to think twice. Amanda Nash writes, ridiculous. This little boy did this out of respect, not hate. He wanted to be just like MLK. There's nothing wrong with that, in my opinion.
Ricky Lewis says, stop making something out of nothing.
Amanda Hurtado says he is just a kid learning in the way children enjoy to learn with his imagination. He didn't know what he was doing was considered wrong decades ago.
And Fritz Lee says even if only a small group of African Americans are old enough to remember minstrel shows and Jim Crow, those people still count. They were the ones who faced discrimination, not a bunch of white people in Arizona or Colorado for that matter. It is easy for a white person to write time to quit playing the race card because she is not suffering, and she has never suffered from racism.
Well, I'm from the South, and that certainly was a big part of my culture, Confederate flags and such. But again, I think the sensitivity here just has to be that we need to step back and wonder, he's a second grader, and I don't know if we're being overly sensitive. That's the question. And we debated this a long time in the newsroom today.
There are other
Sean
ways.
is adamantly opposed to this young man doing this, and is glad that the school stepped in.
All right.
All right. Well, next on ABC 15 now. Earlier this month,